Hi folks, Ron Meed here. For those of you that have watched my previous videos, you probably know I take a little bit different approach. I'm not here with a bunch of slick scripted stuff with all the gimmicky things that get your attention and keep you watching. Rather, I'm just talking to you like we're two adults having coffee together. Kind of person to person, you asking me some questions, me giving you some answers based on my years of experience. So the topics I choose to talk about are from the questions I'm getting, and they aren't just about the nuts and bolts of building a YouTube channel, which you know is what I advise for you to do to get out of debt quickly. So what do you think of this style? I don't know. Is it boring? Why don't you comment below? I'd appreciate it if you'd let me know. I can change if you'd like something more prepared, I guess. So I'll be reading them all and I'll let you know what I find out. So here's a question I got recently from a young lady. She said, I'm really afraid to get started. My mind says I need to get my channel up and running, and everything you say, Ron, makes sense to me, but I just can't seem to pull the trigger. So my question to you is, has that ever happened to you? Have you ever had an idea or a dream that you wanted to chase, but maybe fear stopped you? How about starting a YouTube channel, launching a business, learning how to play the guitar, or maybe even just something as simple as walking into a new gym? So if that sounds something like you have had happen to you in the past, stick around, because today I'm going to try to break it down to three little areas that I think hopefully can help you think about them to get you actually up and started. Before we dive in, why don't you say out loud, or maybe put it in the comments below, what's the one thing you've been wanting to start but just happened? Stop the video here and think about that. Is there something been going on in your life for a while? Maybe it's the YouTube channel we talk about. Don't worry, nobody's going to judge you. You can make your comment below and nobody's going to laugh at you. So here's one thing that I have learned over the years. Here's the thing about fear. It isn't actually about the thing itself. It's about the unknown. Now, I bet you've all heard that FEAR stands for false expectations appearing real. F.E.A.R. Now think about that, because the key in that sentence is false expectations. Something you think may happen in the future, but is probably false. Why would you base a decision on something that has a pretty good chance of being false? So let me ask you, when you think about starting, is there a little voice in your head that says, what if I fail? What if people laugh? What if I'm not ready? Well, guess what? That voice is normal. It's your brain trying to keep you safe. But safe often means stuck. And being stuck, if you're honest, is way scarier than trying and stumbling a little bit. Think about this. Which is scarier? Starting and maybe messing up a little bit, or never starting at all? Hopefully never starting at all is way more scary, because my experience is that's the error of your ways. Let me give you a quick story. I got a friend of mine named Jake, and he wanted to run a marathon, and we were talking one day, and he just kept putting it off, and he was afraid of going slow or quitting halfway, or basically was afraid of embarrassing himself. So have you ever talked to yourself that way and talked yourself out of doing something? So one day we were just chatting, and he said it again, and I said, wait a minute, Jake, why don't you just sign up for a 5K? 5K is about 3 miles. You can jog at your own pace and give that a try and see how easy or how hard it is. Guess what? He finished easily. And when he crossed the finish line, he said it kind of flipped his mindset. The fear in his head was way bigger than the reality. So he went on, and he actually about a year later ended up running a full marathon and was ecstatic. So let me ask you, what's the marathon in your head? What have you been building up your head that might not nearly be as scary as you once thought? To make it a little more personal, how about your fear of starting a YouTube channel? That's why most of you started looking at my videos in the first place. So it may not be as difficult. I can guarantee you it's not as difficult as you might be building in your head. So let's get practical. Let me give you what I think are 3 simple steps to overcome the fear of starting something new. I don't care what it is. I call the first one, shrink the start. So instead of focusing on the big, hairy, scary project, how about taking just a portion of it? Instead of writing a whole book, how about writing 1 page? Instead of creating a channel, how about creating a 30-second video? Those are all super small steps you could take to get started. And once you find out how easy they are, you can continue from there. Number 2, why don't you redefine what your definition of failure is? It isn't the opposite of success, it's part of it. Everybody who's successful has been a failure somewhere. So the question is, if failure wasn't embarrassing, what would you try right now? Number 3, I was going to say focus on growth, not perfection. Your first attempt won't be perfect. Trust me on that one. It doesn't need to be. When was the last time you were great at something the very first time you tried it? Probably never. Most of us never. That's really normal. Progress beats perfection every single time. Progress beats perfection every single time. So here's a little mindset shift that I absolutely love. What if I fail? Why don't you change that to say, what if I grow? So instead of saying, what will people think of me? Ask the question, what if I inspire someone else who's afraid? So if you started today, who in your life might be inspired just by watching you take action? Think about that. So here's the truth. Fear never disappears. You just learn to act with it. Nervous energy that you feel? That's just excitement in disguise. So take the leap, because your future self is waiting for you on the other side of that first step. Your future self is on the other side of your first step. So here's a little challenge for you. In the next 24 hours, take one tiny action towards the thing you've been afraid of to start. Matter of fact, write it in the comments below and we'll cheer you on. And just remember, you don't need to be fearless, you just need to start. The fear almost always is there, but it's never what you think it is. So anyway, that's it for today. Hopefully I've given you a few ideas to think about, a few ways to get started. And trust me on this one, it's not nearly as difficult as you think it might be. As usual, if you like this video, I'd like for you to hit the like button below and subscribe. Helps me out a little bit. And as always, if you'd like to get started on eliminating your debt, I recommend a YouTube channel, and the information for that is down below in the description. Hit that link and my friend Matt will go into much more detail on how easily, the word is easily, it is to get started with your very own YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk with you soon. Bye now.